People power growth, but recruiting and onboarding are expensive, exhausting, and absolutely overwhelming. I've been there, and it doesn't have to be this way. Welcome to Hire and Empower. I'm your host, Molly McGrath. Join me as we interview leaders who care about their teams and distill powerful lessons from them. This show is sponsored by H&E, helping organizations to find their best hire and empower them for success. Learn more at hiringandempowering.com. All right, guys, another popular topic we are talking about today. Many of you are clenching your jaw and sweating bullets possibly when you're opening up this podcast, but you're opening it because you are deeply curious. You're opening a podcast that's talking about attorneys. Are you inadvertently abusing your staff and yourself? So it tells me, number one, bravo, you're open, you're coachable. You are heavily invested and deeply curious in figuring out, okay, why can I not keep staff? Why can I not hire legal leaders leading legal leaders? Why won't my people step up and lead? Why are my people delegating back up to me? Why am I feeling this frustration when I pull in the proverbial parking lot and I don't even want to walk in the building because I can't stand my employees? These are all words that you guys tell me. So we're just going to do a deep dive. We're going to hit it. We're going to go for it. And I'm super excited. And guess what? Our commitment is you're going to have an aha moment. You're going to have that 2 millimeter shift that I constantly talk about. And you are going to walk away feeling hopeful and with some strategies for you to do an analysis to figure out what might be going on with your internal team, going on in the walls and the halls of your office. And we're going to give you some great tips for you to create a turnaround if you're open to it and you're committed to it and you're ready for serious change. So I'm super excited for our guest today. I have attorney Katz, founder, creator of New Law Business Model. You all know her name. You've seen it. She's been in the legal space, and I'm super excited for 25 years now, Allie, right?
Yeah, well, I graduated Georgetown in 1999 and started my own law practice in 2003 and been training lawyers since 2006.
Oh my goodness.
A long time. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Tell us a little bit about what you're training lawyers on and why you're really passionate about our topic today.
So I created this new law business model when I realized that the traditional practice model for lawyers and their staff is broken. And I realized it because I was a mom and I was in business for myself, and I was serving clients in the way that I had been taught coming out of law school and then working at one of the best law firms in the country. And I knew it didn't serve the clients, and I knew for sure it didn't serve me as a mom, and I know for sure it didn't serve my staff. And the reason I am so passionate about the topic today and agreed to come talk with you about this specifically is because I was an inadvertent abuser of my staff. I didn't know. In fact, I thought I was the best boss in the world. I really did. And really, it was an abuse of myself. It was an abuse of myself. And so part of why I created the new law business model is to really transform this entire industry, because our industry is in need of transformation. And that begins with the transformation of ourselves. And it begins with the willingness to look at what we are doing, the ways that we're operating that don't work. And this is one of the primary ways, Molly, is we are typically so stressed out. We're so scared. We're afraid of running out of money. We're afraid we don't have enough time. Our business model is set up in such a way where, yes, we should be afraid, actually, because the way that we've been taught to practice is not conducive to actually having a life and law practice that you love. And guess who that gets taken out on? Internally, it gets taken out on ourselves, but externally, it gets taken out on the staff and our kids and our spouses and everybody else in our life, except our clients. It typically doesn't get taken out on clients, but on everybody else, ourselves and our staff feel it the most. And you get to see it because people are coming to you and they want solutions. They want to be able to hire a team. They want to be able to be supported by a team. But then the way that they're actually operating with their team doesn't create that win-win where it's good for them and good for the team, because the lawyers are afraid. The lawyers are afraid. And so, and a lot of them have come out of this litigation mentality.
Yes.
It's like everything is a fight. And I see it even with some of our own clients, right? Some of the lawyers that come to us. First of all, what I will say is that the lawyers who come to New Law Business Model and become personal family lawyer firms are like the most heart-centered,
Yes.
loving, incredible humans who went to law school to make a difference, and they just truly have tremendous love in their hearts. And so then when I see them in the same kind of pain that I was and acting out, it's really like an acting out because they don't know what else to do. I get it. I really get it. And we can see it in like how they talk to us. And so maybe you can share, some of the symptoms. I know you did another podcast on it, with a paralegal, but I'm coming at it from the lawyer perspective, somebody who's been there.
Yes.
So maybe you can share from your lens some of the things that you see from your vantage point, kind of representing the team. What are these lawyers doing so that a lawyer who's listening can know, oh, that's me, I do that.
Yes.
And then we can talk about what they can do about it.
I love this because I really would love for you, because you have sat in that seat. You coach people who come to you from that seat, but they are open and committed to making the change. So, I would just, one thing I want to say, I would really argue that attorneys, you might be bringing it into the clients more than you realize, because you're feeling frustrated. You're about to walk into a conference room and close a $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 case, whatever it is. And you're walking by your team's office, or you're looking at the stack of papers that you have on your desk that you have to work at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, what have you. And Susie Q is still not doing what you're paying them for. And you're not getting a guaranteed paycheck at the end of the month. So resentment built in. And I see this. I will go into the Zoom room and meet with the attorney, and I could feel in 4 seconds flat their energy. They're coming in, and I've been there. I know that I've been there before. And just like you, I was the same way with my team. But there's one thing about awareness, and there's another thing about sitting in awareness hell constantly. So maybe some of you are feeling that niggle. You are feeling frustrated with everyone around you. You're feeling short circuit. You're feeling stressed out. I see it. They come in the Zoom room. And if I'm working with the attorney and the team members in my law firm admin boot camper, and attorneys calling me to talk to us about hiring someone, they have a tremendous amount of turnover. I can feel it immediately. I can see the look of disgust in their eyes. So, 80% of communication is body language. And when you're bringing that, and I think for us as entrepreneurs and business owners, like this, it's no joke. Hanging your own shingle and owning your own business is not for the weak. Like I get it. It takes a very strong, which I hate that word, but strong person, and whatever that means, but a resilient person to show up every day. Yes.
Yeah.
And and it's, you're committed. You're committed for the breakthrough. You want to be of service to your clients, what have you. But what I'm seeing is they show up in the conference room with just a tremendous amount of stress and energy. And we can justify it till the cows come home. There is payroll, there is clients to serve. There's all the things, there's a ton of work. But what I'm seeing is truly an employee that looks like a car crash victim. They look like they are a trauma victim, because they look like a deer in the headlights. They're not talking. They look scared to death, which is fascinating because the attorney is scared, but their physical demonstration of fear is very, very different than the employees. So
Mm,
you're both afraid. And
yeah.
honestly, I think fear is our number one in our job description as an entrepreneur. It's a matter of
Hmm.
just embracing it, naming it,
Hmm.
doing something with it. Tony Robbins
Hmm.
always talks about emotions in motion, naming it. I mean, the attorneys that can say, you know what? Hey, client service director, I'm stressed out right now. I'm feeling like
Hmm.
I'm getting hit at every way. They're like, whoa,
Hmm.
thank you for naming it.
Hmm.
Thank you for being vulnerable. Now let's talk about it. Let's go to the whiteboard. Let's do what I call the proverbial, you puke it out. I'm going to hold the puke bucket for you. And now we're going to figure out what we can do with all this. But what I'm witnessing is they're coming in, they're resentful, they're stressed out, they're busy, and they're feeling it. And they're not processing the emotions. They're not sharing. Like once you name it, okay, tell me what you're stressed out about. Just literally, let me name it, let me capture it. Now let the employee come with a proposed solution. Let's figure out what it's going to take, but they're not doing that. They're suffering in silence and for multiple
Hmm.
reasons. Honestly, I hear from attorneys all the time. I don't want to freak my team out. I don't want to bother them with this. So I'm not sharing it. I'm like, yeah, but there's thundering silence echoing through the office and
Yeah.
everybody's feeling it. And so your team wants to help you, but then it's just such a vicious cycle. And so the look of frustration, disgust is oozing through your body, first and foremost. Number two, the statement consistently is, I'm so busy. We don't have any money, all the reasons. I'm stressed out, all the things, which is great to name it, but it's not helpful when you won't let people help you. And it's what
Yeah.
makes me so incredibly, I'll have employees that'll call me and tell me this stuff. And I'll listen. I'm like, all right, tell me why you're not quitting. And you know what they tell me? You
Mm.
should see him or her with their clients. You
Mm.
should see the clients that call into this office and the difference in the impact that we make. This is a mission for me. This is my life calling. This is my purpose. I just need my attorney to let go and trust and lean on me more. But the attorney, for whatever reason, is not. So their anger and their abuse is just coming out because they're fearful of naming it. And I don't know if it's a lack of vulnerability. I don't know if it's because they don't have the solution, so they're afraid to say it. I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we think that we should know all the answers, and we have imposter syndrome a bit. Like, okay, I'm hiring these people. Somebody allowed me to open a business. I mean, I made it out of law school. That's no small feat. So I'm supposed to have everything in the world figured out before I share it with my employees. Does that resonate with you at all?
Yeah, I'm thinking back to when that was the case for me. And this is definitely one of those, like, if I could do it, you could do it realities. Like, if I could make a change, you can make a change. If you're hearing this and you're thinking, oh my God, that's me. I'm currently here sitting in my office in Costa Rica, drinking my drink that just got delivered to me, totally relaxed. This is a green drink, not an alcoholic drink. Totally relaxed in my system. I don't need to turn to substances to get relaxed. There was a time I did, by the way, and a lot of attorneys do because
Yeah.
we're so stressed out. We have the highest incidence in our profession of addiction and even suicide. Why? Because our levels of stress are extremely high. Mine was certainly that way. But today, here I am in Costa Rica. I have a team of 60 people.
Wow.
And I made it through some of the things that I'm going to share with you today. Specifically, I want you to understand that what it is that we get to learn is how to be leaders. It's leadership skills. And we didn't learn that. And in fact, one of the women in my program messaged recently, and she said, I think I missed something along the way. Like, are there any books on leadership? Because I think I missed something along the way. And I think we did as lawyers. We missed something along the way because we didn't have any good models. And this is why in my own book, I have these 5 shifts that we get to make. And I wrote about those in my book, New Law Business Model Revealed. And the 5th shift is mentorship, because we have to see somebody else go first and we pick up what we see. We become like our mentors. Who are our mentors? Well, the senior partners that we worked with. Well, they weren't good leaders. Or the law school professors were not typically good leaders. They were like, stressed out, angry people that were modeling for us how to be a boss. Or in my case, like maybe my dad, stressed out, angry guy who like held a lot of power, but like he wasn't a good boss, right? Or the senior partner that I worked with at Munger, Tolles and Olson, the first firm I was at. So we have to learn how to become leaders, and that leadership actually begins with leadership of ourselves. And what I hear you talking about, Molly, is that most of us don't have skills of emotional mastery. We don't know how to master our own emotions. So do I ever feel frustrated now? Do I ever feel resentful now? I do. Sometimes I feel frustrated and sometimes I feel resentful. Now I know what to do with it. Back then, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I did not know how to handle my own frustration, my own resentment. And so what I would end up doing is blaming my team, blaming my assistant, blaming, my first client services director. Her name is Susan. She still actually works with me to this day. She works for my financial management company. And every month we get together and go over my books. And it's so cool because she was my very first team member. And she was a kindergarten teacher before working for me. And Susan did not know anything about estate planning. She didn't know anything about business. She didn't know anything about anything. And every system that I developed that is now part of Personal Family Lawyer and New Law Business Model in many respects was developed for Susan because she did not have a strong attention to detail. She could not create systems at all. Like it was my job to create systems. So you can imagine, like I was frustrated a lot. The day that I showed up on a Saturday that 3 clients were supposed to come in and that was going to be like a $10,000 day and none of them showed up, I was really frustrated that day and I was scared because I'm the breadwinner in my family. And that was the day I was making payroll for the month. 3 clients all in one day on a Saturday. I was going to make payroll that day and nobody shows up. And that was before I had the systems that I have now to make sure that people show up. And so you can imagine that when Susan was like, hey, I have some bad news, nobody showed up today. I wanted to, first of all, throw in the towel and give up my law practice right then and there and go back and get a job. And I was angry at Susan. That must have been Susan's fault. They didn't show up because Susan didn't do something, but that was not the truth. The truth is I was angry at myself and I was scared. And I didn't know how to, at that time, I didn't know, first of all, how to be with those feelings, right? You were telling me, Molly, that with one of our shared clients, you got on the Zoom with them and the very first thing that you did is like, you just had to help her breathe.
Yes.
Like that's step 1, right? And when that fear comes up, when that stress comes up, I mean, the step 1 is like, we get to learn how to breathe. Okay, something really bad just happened. 3 clients that were going to be my payroll did not show up. Okay. Before I react, I need to stop and breathe, because the difference between me and like a lizard, right? Our lizard brain, our monkey mind, right? The difference between me and that, like, rah, is my ability to pause and put some space between what happened and what I'm going to do. Mastering just that little piece has changed so much in my life. Not having that little piece cost me so many relationships, so much money, so many probably clients that I didn't even know that it cost me, where I'm just reacting. So the first thing, and again, you said this right to me, it's the thing that you do with your clients is let's take a breath. Let's take a breath.
I love that you just
Right.
said that. I wanna hop on that because wow, I didn't even realize I was doing, your system, if you will. But imagine if I'm not there or you're not there, and
Right.
we're professionals that they're paying. And the beauty, now that you're saying that, like with Susan, or for me when I was with the client and the team member, and I saw that,
Yeah.
I see the team member, I'm like, hang on, Susie Q, like, do you just see what happened with your attorney? She was like, okay, like she did it. She really took a landing breath. Like, this is what she needs you to help her to do. And to your point, like the power of the pause, that's a big deal. 3 clients don't show up. That is like the data's real, the action's real, but at the same time, when you separate from it and you do, imagine if you have a team member that you give permission to do that, to talk you off the ledge. All right, pause. All right, we have an hour right now where we're supposed to be in a conference room with a paying client. So here's the deal. Let's figure out why 3 people didn't show up. Let's figure out like what's wrong with our follow-up system, our confirmation system, or what have you. Like, all right, now let's make sure this doesn't happen again. And if it does, we're gonna have a process in place to serve as a safety net.
Well, and that's the next piece that I love that you're really bringing up here, because to you, as a trainer of team members and somebody who's worked in law offices for 20 years, to you, it's obvious that you would collaborate, that the team member and the attorney would collaborate. But to the attorney, it's not obvious that they can collaborate with their team member. The attorney thinks I need to be able to tell my team member what to do.
Yes.
And attorneys, I want you to know that if that's your frame of mind, and that was my frame of mind, you're not getting the best that you possibly can from your team. You are missing out on a massive opportunity to actually expand your capacity. And that is that you get to collaborate with your team member. Now, I want to just point to something here that is maybe hard for the lawyers and the team members to hear, but it's really important to acknowledge. It's even hard to say in a way, but I'm going to say it because it's very important. In many cases, the lawyers who are the most stressed out and the most mean, because that's really what it is, lawyers, you're coming across as mean. And because you feel it, when you're coming across as mean. You could feel it in your body. Your body
Yes.
feels tense. Your throat feels tight. Your heart feels or your chest. You might not even know how to feel your heart, frankly. Your chest feels constricted. Your stomach might hurt, right? These are the feelings in our bodies. Your back of your shoulders are like killing you. Your shoulder blades are like in so much pain, right? We know what stress feels like in our body.
Yes.
So if you're feeling that in your body, you're probably coming across as mean and you know it. So the lawyers that are coming across as mean are oftentimes the ones that are what I will call the savant lawyers. And I just worked with a lawyer, had a weekend VIP session with a good friend of mine, a lawyer. She's amazing, an incredible human. Her heart is so big. And
Oh,
I'm pretty sure that her team members over the years have felt her as mean, because she is so smart. She's a savant. Her mind operates so fast that it's very hard for anybody to keep up. So I have to imagine that as the lawyer is in that fast mode, right? We're in our fast mode. We're like, why can't you just get this? It would be very hard for that lawyer to see their team member as a potentially a collaborative partner. Because, and Molly, I'd love to know, like, how do you think we can handle this? Because actually the team member has a tremendous amount of intelligence that the lawyer doesn't have. But that the lawyer can't even see, because usually, oftentimes when this is happening, the team member is literally frozen
Yes.
in fear, like you said, deer in the headlights. Oh my God, I can't keep up with the lawyer so fast, and I'm never going to be able to do it. So what we need to do is get these two people, the lawyer whose brain moves so fast, and the team member who I'm guessing has other extreme intelligences as well, significant intelligences, to do things that the lawyer can't do, maybe on focus, right? Maybe on, like, a lot of these lawyers have ADD, ADHD. These are, by the way, superpowers. At least I've learned to turn my version of that into superpowers, which we can. But oftentimes the team member has the balancing skills that if the lawyer can learn to collaborate with this team member, now we've got 1 and 1 makes 11 instead of just 2, or sometimes even, 1.5. So what is it, Molly, would you say, that when the lawyer their brain is moving so fast, all they're seeing in the team member is the team member's fear and frozenness, which may look like, oh God, they're never going to get it.
Yes.
How do I invite that team member into collaboration in a way that my system, as the lawyer who needs to be the leader, I got to be the leader. I got to make the collaboration invitation. How can I do that in a way that is going to get really the best from the team member?
Oh my gosh, I love this conversation. So you're exactly right, because when the attorney has the ideas just on a locomotive mind, but also there is true adrenaline pumping through their body, and they see the team member not doing anything, or what the attorneys tell me, I wish someone would just step up and lead and take the reins. They're frozen. And so the assumption, and I'm guilty of this too, you're like, they're not capable. They, I have to tell them we go to the dark side of town with our mind. So there's two things. One is, number one, a lot of times the attorney, you don't have the language to even say, all right, collaboration. Now I got to have another meeting to talk about how to collaborate. No. Like in real time, what I teach the employees in the law firm admin boot camp is, what's coming at your attorney's real. So here's the deal. It's your job, when you see that look, find a universal language. Like for my attorney, when I worked, my attorney was ADD, ADHD, like high voltage, 10 quick start, like, all the things, high D on the disc, all the things. I mean, check. He did not understand, even when he was unplugged, he was not unplugged. I'd always say, you at 10% is, better than most at 100. So
savant.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I tell the team members, here's a few things. Your attorney's never going to sit down and say, now let's collaborate. They can't get off the freight train. So it's up to you, when you see that look, and the look, the feeling, you see the smoke coming out of their head, you feel the adrenaline pumping from their body, for you to find a universal language. So what I teach a lot in the law firm admin boot camp is the referee timeout sign. So, I give them language. I'm like, you have to do pattern breaks and say, okay, whoa, attorney, real quick. I see it. I see the look, dump it. I'm going to just tell me everything that's floating around your mind. I'm going to capture it all right now. Because by and large, high visionaries, high quick start, ADD, savant attorneys, so much is going on in their head. And the second, I always say this, the truth will set you free. They're afraid they're going to forget about it. So mentally, they keep picking it back up and up and up, and they're not sharing it with the team because they're being actually respectful because they know, see what works on your desk and what have you. So they have no outlet at all. So your job is to really, truly see the look and find it. For my attorney, it was always tone. And we came up with the universal language. I'm like, tone, I can see it. You're ready to go off the deep end and piss off everyone in your wake. And you have to walk into a client room right now and close this deal. And you cannot bring that energy in there. So dump it right now. And my job was to capture it. And it was night and day for them. I'm like, all right, now go on stage and rock it. And I'm going to put this in a project focuser. I'm going to put this in your marketing agenda. I'm going to put this on your finance meeting agenda. I'm going to put it, every single one of them have a bucket and a compartment for where they go, and it will be handled. Not right now, but the truth will set you free. Dump it is number one. But number two, team members, they'll say to me, well, I've tried that. I'm like, well, maybe you didn't try it this way. Don't stop trying. So, another thing I'll say to them, I'm like, every interaction you have with your attorney, I want you to ask them this one powerful question. What are you not seeing that you wish you were seeing right now going in this law firm? What are you not seeing that is pissing you off today that would set your heart and mind free? There's always one thing. You are never going to work for an entrepreneur that is not consistently frustrated and disappointed and stressed out and busy. The second they're not busy, they're always like, I don't want to bother my attorney. They're so busy. I'm like, well, the day they're not busy, they're out of business. So they better be busy all the time. It's just a matter of focus management. There needs to be time management. There's all those things for there, but in the moment, your job is to give them permission to riff, to rant, and to get it out of their body and get it out of their head, get it out of so their heart can be present to go counseling a grieving client.
Yeah, so I love that you are teaching the team members to be brave, because that's really what I'm hearing. You're teaching the team members to be brave with their attorneys in the face of their attorneys' resentment, fear, stress, abuse, not knowing how to deal with their emotions. And that's fantastic. That is half the equation, right? Because we're all 100% responsible for our part. And
Yes.
attorneys, I want to give you the magic bullet for your own selves, because your emotions are your responsibility. Your emotions are your responsibility. So, yes, put your team members that you really want to be with you for the long haul through Molly's training program so they can get brave. Number one, I think that's really smart. Get them brave, because they do have to be able to, I'm going to put it in a context of like top and bottom. They have to be able to top you.
Oh,
Y'all know what that means.
Yes.
You just want somebody to come along and be your boss. Great. Your team members can get brave enough to be your boss, but you also have to become somebody who is bossable, somebody who is coachable. And you want it. I know you want it. I know you want to become that person, because it is so much better to be that person. And so what you've got to be asking yourself is, how do I maintain that balance of being the boss, because I am the boss, but also being bossable? How do I maintain that balance of being the leader, being in charge of really running the show here, but also being a collaborative partner with my team members? And I want to say that it comes down to emotional mastery. It comes down to you not learning to hide your emotions or push your emotions away. It's actually quite the opposite. It comes down to you learning how to actually feel your emotions, be with the parts of yourself that are scared, enraged, lost, don't know how to be a leader, learn how to be with those parts of yourself in a way where, frankly, you get to be the grown up. And those parts of you, those parts of you, and this is a big part of why what we call the kind of law that we teach lawyers to practice, relational law. Relational law. So the new law business model is based on you being a relational lawyer. So we've been taught either transactional law, one-off transaction, be a trust mill, or get those corporations done, or get those transactions done, or be a litigator, conflict. Well, we're developing a whole new way of practicing law that we call relational law. And if you want to be a relational lawyer, which, by the way, can never be replaced by AI,
Yes.
which is never going to be able to be competed with by LegalZoom or any of the trustandwill.com or any of these online legal services, right? Relational lawyers will always be needed because it's based on the parts that cannot be replaced by technology, but you get to leverage technology to the fullest. In order to be a great relational lawyer, you need to start by getting into a relationship with your own emotions, and not let those emotions overrun you so that they are uncontrollable. And at the same time, you do have to be able to feel all your emotions. And this is a funny paradox, because when I was first learning to feel my emotions, I was really scared that if I let my emotions be felt, then I would not be able to stop them from spilling out everywhere all the time. And so then I would try to hold them back. But like you said, everybody can feel it. So it's like this undercurrent of like people being like, why are you so angry? And I'm like, I'm not angry. I'm not angry. But of course, yes, you are angry, and your anger is okay, and it's welcome. And there's a way for you to begin to have this emotional mastery where you can acknowledge, I'm angry that 3 people said they were coming in today and didn't come in. That is a fair thing to be angry about.
Yes, it is.
I'm angry about that. But it's not something you blame your team member for, or even blame yourself for. You realize, okay, I'm angry about this. Hey, team member, let's be angry about it together, actually, because we both get to work together now to put in place a system to make sure that doesn't happen again. And attorney, you don't know what the system is. If you did, you would already have it in place. So what are you going to do to learn and discover the system so that that doesn't happen again? That is your responsibility. That is where you have an ability to respond. And it's literally exactly why I created New Law Business Model and Personal Family Lawyer, because I remember walking down the halls in my law office all those years ago and thinking, I cannot believe that I am reinventing this wheel. How could it be that there's no system for this? How could it be that nobody can just tell me what to do? Because I'll do it if I know. But there was no system. And so that's why I packaged it all together in literally a set of systems for how do we generate leads? How do we network? How do we educate our community? How do we build our email list? How do we follow up with our email list? How do we get enough clients, whether we're building a solo practice, a staffed practice, or $1 million practice? How do we get enough clients every month so that we can have a business, a real business? We have to become business owners, leaders. And then how do we intake and engage those clients so they engage every single time at high enough fees where we can afford to have a team where 3 people coming in on a Saturday pay the bills for the month? Because now these days, that's a $15,000 day, not a $10,000 day like it was back then. $15,000 days. And then take care of these people for life, be there for their family when they can't be, and have the right metrics that we're tracking and the right team that's supporting us, it's all systems. It's all systems. And as I'm literally inventing these systems, because I'm a savant too, it's true, it's just true. I said to myself, if I ever figure this out, I'm going to make sure that no other lawyer has to reinvent this wheel, because this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous that we are all having to reinvent this wheel. And so now no other lawyer has to reinvent the wheel if they're doing estate planning the way that I teach as life and legacy planning. And then if you've got your systems and you know what to do, you get to focus on the emotional mastery. You get to focus on being the leader. You get to focus on setting clear goals and educating your community and serving your clients. And you get to bring your team along to utilize these systems and collaborate with you, because I promise you that your team member, your client services director, your client services coordinator, your partner, I'm going to call this person your partner in building your law practice. They might not be able to own the practice because you can't own it in your state, but they will be able to in the future. But for right now, unless you're, I think in Utah, maybe they can, but they're still your partner in building this practice. Susan was my partner in building my practice. We were in it together. And I promise you, there were things that she was so much better at than I was. And when I could provide her with a system, and I mean, if I had had Molly back then I could have provided her with Molly too. So she could have had more emotional support along the way and learned how to top me and be my boss better. That would have been great. Now I can work on my emotional mastery. I can work on learning how to breathe. I can work on learning how to be with my feelings, and I can work on learning how to be a leader, because that's ultimately what it comes down to. Is you get to go from abuser of yourself, abuser of your team, maybe even abuser of your spouse and kids, which, by the way, I know you don't think of yourself that way because you don't mean to. You don't mean to be mean. But if this is, hitting you in your heart, you get to go from being that to being who you actually know you are. You're like me. You have a big heart. You want to be relaxed. You want to be loving your life. You deserve that. You worked so hard. You deserve it. And so does your team. And you can have it. But it takes systems. It takes being coachable. It takes being bossable. It takes learning how to manage your emotions and being willing to show up for mentorship, getting your team mentorship with Molly, getting yourself mentorship with me.
Yep. I love what you just said about the process. I'll just say this real quick, and I know we're getting close here, but one of the things I'll say that as you're going through what New Law Business Model does in the processes, let's just take that. I'm just like really, truly watching a, beginning, what to expect, beginning, middle, and end. And I love, my coach always says the root of the definition of anxiety really, truly is lack of information. And I think that when we don't have the information, we don't know what to expect. We don't know why things aren't working. Your process is actually, as you were talking, Allie, I'm like, that's actually the vehicle to manage and carry and guide your emotional mastery. Because when you have that framework laid out, you have a process to serve, even when 3 clients don't show up. Okay, well, they didn't show up today because we don't have a process, but they're going to be here tomorrow or next week or what have you, because we have a process to handle cancellations and reschedules, because our team's empowered to support us with that. So it never even makes it to where I'm freaking out. I just love everything that you're teaching. And, process is all the buzzword right now, as well. You and I have been in this space for 26 years. There's been no processes anywhere. And, attorneys are constantly chasing process, and they'll buy the binder, they'll, from like LegalZoom online or what have you, but then they're not empowering and enrolling their team to be the boss. I teach it in my program. I love that you say that, you want to be bossed. I tell the team members all that time, like, your attorneys don't have the language for this, but subconsciously, I will tell you, as an entrepreneur, we want someone to tell us what to do. Human beings want people to tell them what to do. And by and large, even entrepreneurs that have anti-authoritarian complex, they still want somebody else to really be in the driver's seat and be I tell them Miss Visual. It's like driving Miss Daisy. They want you driving. Together, you both agree on what the roadmap is, where we're going.
Yeah.
We're in agreement with that, but they want you to take the wheel. I said, your greatest thing at the end of this 12 weeks in this program is that your attorney, and I say, have fun with it. Tell your attorney, you know what, at the end of this 12 weeks, you're going to be calling me boss. I want to be the boss. I want to tell you what to be, what to do, what to do. I want to have everything teed up for you. So you can, Sinatra didn't move pianos. He just walked on stage and did his magic. I want to be the piano mover. I want to know what the set list is. I want to do all that. I want to make sure you have all the things. And I love that you just said to, for bosses being bossed. I love that. Because I tell team at the end of the day, and I love it when my attorney clients like, I'm not the boss, she's the boss. I just, she manages the calendar, and so go the calendars, so go cash flow. She manages everything. I just know when to be in the conference room, when to be at a workshop, when to do wines and wills for your members. And I just show up and I just be present. And I love the terminology that you have. I love that you're transforming the legal industry about relational planning and consulting and counseling.
Yeah. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to go it alone. You can either read my book, New Law Business Model Revealed, How to Build a Lucrative Life and Law Practice You and Your Clients Love. And you can get that at newlawbusinessmodel.com.
Is it on Amazon as well or no?
Of course. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's on
I'll
Amazon.
put both the
You can read
links
all
in
the
the show
reviews.
notes.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. And then, if you love it, if you love what you read, we've got it all built out for you. All you have to do is apply to talk to a law business advisor and let them know that you're one of these heart-centered lawyers that is going to represent us well as a personal family lawyer firm, and that you want to be a relational lawyer, and that you want to have systems and you don't want to reinvent the wheel. And we can literally just give you everything that we've built so that you can have the law practice that you love, whether you've been doing estate planning for years or you're brand new to it. We've, helped the whole market to become relational lawyers and implement life and legacy planning. And it's what we're doing. And so, Molly, so we got to do this again.
Yes.
I just love it.
Tell our listeners again. So if they want to learn more, they want to book a call with one of your advisors, where is the best place for them to go?
Just go to newlawbusinessmodel.com. Everything is there. And Molly, you know what I think I'll also give you once we have it ready, because we did this summit that you participated in December.
Great.
The greatest ever online summit for estate planning pros and those who want to be. There was so much in there that I think that you'll all really love. And so I'll also give you a link to that to put in the show notes. We're just about to have it ready. So that'll be out soon. And we'll give you all of the links, but New Law Business Model is the place. And we look forward to meeting you.
Oh, Ellie, thank you so much for your time today in beautiful Costa Rica. And thank you for doing all the work you're doing with estate planning attorneys and law practices, and taking the system, taking the production, taking the guesswork out of how to do it, and laying that out there so they can focus on being a heart-centered attorney, relational attorney. And it's done for you guys. No more excuses. Guess what? If you listen to this podcast, you are never allowed to justify being stressed out and busy anymore, because the answer's in the room right here, right here.
It's right here.
If
That's
you're
right.
upset about your team and they're the biggest bane of your existence, give them to me. If you're struggling
Yeah.
with scaling and growing your practice and having it systematized, you're going to Allie. So no more excuses. We're not allowing it.
Thanks, Molly. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you. Until next time, guys, continue being legal leaders, leading legal leaders. We've reached the end of another impactful conversation on the Hire and Empower podcast. Whether this was your first episode or you're a longtime listener, I know you can tell I have passion for people. Whether you're a business owner, employee, executive, or hiring manager, I understand the situation you're in. Hiring, onboarding, and leadership is expensive, exhausting, overwhelming, and if that's not enough, it's also time-consuming. My friends, it doesn't have to be this way. There is a team at H&E that has your back. For over 25 years, they've transformed over 4,000 law firms into efficient, effective, profitable assets for their business and made it fun to come to work again. Check out our Smart Hire solution, our employee leadership program, and the 66-day law firm turnaround at hiringandempowering.com.